Good morning. Welcome to the weekly Team Achieve video hangout where I get on here, chit chat, and hopefully you guys take something out of it. Today is awesome. Number one, I don't know what it was. Actually, I do know what it is. I've been right back on track with my personal development the last 3 days after taking, I shouldn't even say taking time off. It was just slacking on my end with my own personal development for the last 4 weeks since I got back from the trip, pretty much just really struggling with personal issues, which was weighing down on my mindset. And because I wasn't keeping up on my personal development, I let stress get up here way more than usual. And so people that know me know I'm a very stress-free, drama-free type person because it's all due to personal development. I've developed my mind to the point where that crud does not affect me as much. But the last 3 days have been right back on track with it 110%. I'm actually going to share with you guys. I pulled out some of my favorites, and I have set a lofty goal. I'm usually lucky if I get one book done per month consistently. I have a bad habit of reading half a book, seeing a shiny object, and going, ooh, I want to read that one. And I only ever get through half of these books because I keep going to the next one. So I've set the goal to finish one book at a time. This is my stack. I want to go through one per week, which is a lofty goal, but like I always say, I have to take my own advice on this one. If you want to get the best results, you have to do stuff you have not done before. So personal development is in high gear right now. So especially this morning, after doing my new morning routine that I've been doing, today's awesome because I woke up fired up and there was no external motivation that I usually get, whether it be like coffee is a common one. Haven't had any coffee today. I just woke up, and because I've been feeling it back in here again, I'm just feeling awesome. And not to mention when I woke up and I saw what was going on in the back office, because as the coach on top of everybody, I can see everyone's growth, and it's absolutely nuts. So number one thing I want to go through is Success Club points real quick. So I am standing at 18 points. Phil is insane. So massive shout out to Phil, who gets spotlight of the day. So Phil had 1 point yesterday morning, and Phil has set a goal to hit Success Club 10 every single month, which he has so far. So when he saw he had 1 point, he sent me a message that night or the night before and said, Chaz, I'm going to get all 10 points by tomorrow. I said, okay, Phil, go ahead, rock it. He pulled out 11. I asked him what he did. He simply followed up with everyone that has been on his list. The exact same thing that I always do, especially when I'm scrounging for points last minute. So this is why list keeping is so important. Don't ever talk to somebody and have these conversations only to, if they tell you no right off the bat or check back with me later, you never just say, okay, and then keep it up here. Write their name down somewhere, whether it be on your computer or on a notepad. Because trust me, when there's months, for those of you trying to strive for a Success Club, there's months that you're going to struggle. There's slow months, there's busy months. So in those slow months, you need to have that list to fall back on so you have some type of tangible thing to work with. So that's exactly what Phil did. Pulled out 10 points in 1 day, which beat my record of 9 points in 1 day was mine. So nice work, Phil. Next up, also shout out to Kaylee, who is sitting currently at 8. If I remember correctly, she actually has a 21-day fix pre-order adjustment that's probably going to be getting done. So she's hitting 10 as well. The coolest part about this, though, is the fact that Kaylee has now officially hit 3 months in a row right out of the gate from her sign-up date of Success Club 5, which earns a free ticket to Summit. So Kaylee, high five. Nice work. I am super proud of you. Next up is Sir Kel sitting at 4 points. Then we've got Jen C at 2 and Jen M. So actually, yeah, both of our Jens, Car and Martin, are both at 2, Dawn at 1, and Nicole W at 1. So nice job, guys, on all the Success Club points. We still have, was it the end of today and tomorrow? So you have until the end of tomorrow. So for those of you that are creeping up on Success Club 5, Like I said, this is where a list comes in handy, because if you keep a list of names, you're able to go back and follow up with those people. So this is where challenge groups can really be handy. Start promoting your next challenge group now so you can get those points racked up if that's what your goal is. So aside from that, moving into today. Today is basically all going to be based on a video that I saw. Like I said, my personal development has been sky high the last couple days, and not only reading a book, I'm reading, it's over on the couch, so I'm not going to run and grab it, but it's Tony Horton's The Big Picture. Highly recommend it. Fantastic read so far. I'm almost done with that one. And aside from reading, I also watch a lot of videos and I listen to a lot of audio, because lately with the sun coming out here, I've been trying to get out and walk more. So I've been taking an hour break in the middle of the day and going out and doing a walk with more personal development in audio form. So without further ado, I'm going to play a video for you guys. And this particular video, it's the first time I listened to it, I was not fully engaged. And so I listened to it and thought, okay, yeah, it's a good one, and I'm going to keep that. But then I listened to it a second time, and I really engaged myself and listened to the messages. That's when it got the wheels turning. That's when something sparked. I said, this is gold. I love this one. So if you guys want to hold on real quick, the screen share up, kick this thing off.
Most of us go through life pretending. Special goals or ambitions or desires, when really deep down inside we do really want more. We block ourselves and we use these words almost like we're in a trance, like we're sleepwalking through life, that we find ways to cancel out our dreams, that a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of places we would like to go, a lot of things we would like to experience, and we just stop at but. But will cause you to hide out behind fear. But will cause you to come up with all type of excuses that you can validate your inaction and not acting on your dream. But is a dream killer. But most people, you know what they do? Most people go through life quietly and safely tiptoeing to an early grave. We've been holding back. We have ideas that we don't act on, things we want to do. We're afraid to take chances. See, a lot of people say no to things and they don't even know what they're saying no to. Don't allow but to keep you in the corner. There are a lot of people who say, but I tried once or twice and it didn't work out. And so they use that as an excuse not to ever come out again. Even if things don't work out, even if I experience defeat or failure, that does not make me a failure. It's a difference between failing and being a failure. If things don't work out, if you don't produce the results you want, that's all. But don't confuse who you are with the results that you produce. Do what you can, where you are with what you have, and never be satisfied. Yeah, don't get satisfied with yourself. Always know that wherever you are, you can enjoy more, that you deserve more. Why don't you decide now that you're going to expand your world, that if other people can learn, you can learn too. See, if you're working on your dream, sure there are going to be times you're going to want to give up. Sure there'll be times in life will knock you down and catch you on the blind side. But the challenge is to hold on. And if you hold on tenaciously, I say the universe is on your side. See, if you don't decide to act on your dream, if you don't decide to make a decision to live your life, if you don't decide to step into your fears, if you don't decide to say yes to your life, it will never work for you. You got to live what's in you. Life is just too short and unpredictable. But what do we say? But there'll always be tomorrow. Oh no. There's no guarantees you're going to show up tomorrow. Always something there to build a case on why you can't move on, why you can't grow to the next level, why you can't begin to manifest your greatness, why you can't begin to live life on your terms. That you're going to say, it's worth it? Yes, that's going to be right there for you. It's going to be in your face telling you to go back. So if you want to do something, if you thought about something you want to do, take it head on. Life will never be the same again. Live your dream.
Is it possible for you to have all your dreams become a reality in your lifetime? Yes, it is possible. But the real question you should be asking yourself, have you made the decision?
You guys like that one? It's a good one. Get this pin back up. There we go. All right. So I saw that video and I literally watched it probably 3 times this morning. Once during my workout and then 2 times after, just because I caught something different each time. And that sparked kind of what I wanted to talk about. It was just key things I personally took out of that video. And number 1 was when he says people are sleepwalking through life. And it's exactly along the lines of what I usually say. And I say that people live in a state of paralysis every single day. People, it's easy. I always use the example of myself because I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've been on a 5-year path to develop my mindset and everything with it. And because of that, I almost forget sometimes where I came from. I almost forget the feeling of low self-esteem and zero confidence, not even low confidence. I forget the feeling of being a hermit and being afraid to talk to people and preferring to be by myself and alone rather than surrounding myself with people. I forget sometimes that feeling. And because of that, sometimes it gets in the way of me connecting people who are still there, but then mentally I put myself back in their position. I'm able to kind of open up those doors a little bit better. So remember that people are sleepwalking through life. We are here as coaches, not just coaches. I mean, you guys know my style. Everything I always talk about it's about life and being a good human being, what God put us on this earth. So remember that people are sleepwalking through life, right? They're living in a state of paralysis because they don't know any different. We know what Beachbody can bring. We know the amazing feelings that come with this lifestyle. People, the average person does not know that. So we're here as people and coaches to open up those doors, to take off those blinders. And that's why that part stuck out so much when we said people are sleepwalking through life, because it's totally true. And the next one is what is tiptoeing to an early grave. Who can relate to that? If you're still on that beginning phase where you have no confidence in yourself, or if you've been there at some point like myself, you are literally tiptoeing to an early grave. And it's scary to think about how many people could I have talked to that I did not, and because of that, they're still tiptoeing to an early grave. I could have been somebody that helped them, but I didn't because I let fear get in the way, and that fear is just talking to them because of fear of rejection or fear of just talking to a stranger. Story with that is a Super Saturday up in Seattle that a couple of us went to. Coach Carla Reese was sharing a story about how she had a good friend of hers that was severely obese, 400 plus pounds. And she was always too afraid to go to him and reach out and say, hey, obviously there's a health problem here. Would you like my help? She was too afraid to do that just because she was afraid of what he would say, because they were friends and she didn't want to ruin that by putting that awkward situation on him. So several months went by, and eventually he did come to her and he said, I'm ready. I need help. I can't live like this. I'm unhappy. I'm unhealthy. And she was so amped up and excited that he finally reached out to her. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, he died of a heart attack. And she beats herself up because if she would have just simply reached out and given him the option, when she first thought of it, instead of letting 6 to 8 months go by, he may have still been alive. She beats herself up about that. And I can't help but think, how many people have I done that to? How many people have I not reached out to in the past? And because of that, they were never even given the option. So people are literally tiptoeing to an early death. We're here to somehow help with that. We're not God. We can't stop the death from happening. It's going to happen eventually, but we can at least give them the option to prolong their health, their physical body. And that's why I love the fact that he touched base on that, just tiptoeing to an early grave, because it's true. People are so caught up in trying to quietly and safely just get through life. And I don't know about you guys, some people watching the recording or on the call live right now, some people may completely agree with me and we're on the same playing field. Some people may disagree and look at life a different way. But for myself, I base everything on my experience. And I remember being overweight and looking back, I was doing just that. I was trying to find the safest, quietest route just to get through life. I had no goals, no ambitions. I didn't want to go out and adventure, see what the world is about, surround myself with amazing people and, be a people person. I didn't want any of that at the time, because I was just safely and quietly trying to tiptoe through life until my grave time. Now that I'm in a position I'm in now, I do not want to live that lifestyle. It's like a post I posted up last night. I refuse to die an unlived life. And I refuse to live my life by myself. I want to bring as many people with me on this incredible journey of life that it can be as I can. Second was, butt is a dream killer. How many of you caught that part? I know I definitely related to that, because again, in my past, before my transformation even began, I used butt in almost every sentence, even down to simple stuff like somebody saying, "Hey, we're going out on this night. Do you want to come hang out with us?" "Oh, I would, but," excuse here.
Yep. Amen to that.
We've all been there. But is seriously a dream killer. "Oh, I would love to host a fit club, but," insert excuse here. "I would love to start a challenge group, but," you guys see where I'm getting at? If you learn to change the wording on that, you can still insert but how about doing this? "I would love to start a challenge group, but let me think about what I need to get done first." Projector, location, all that kind of stuff that goes with it. But if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen. And the other two parts along with that one was, but causes you to hide behind fear. We all have different fears about different things. Right? I'm gonna mute some mics real quick. If everyone wants to mute their audio, that would be great. So, but causes you to hide out behind fear, right? How do we even start to go about switching that around? Because a lot of people think if you have something you're afraid of, let's say talking in front of people, talking to strangers, talking in front of a group, that's something I'm still fearful of. I really, really deep in my heart feel pulled to do motivational speaking on a stage in front of people. It scares the living crap out of me though. And in that situation, in the way that my mind works, I'm thinking, okay, I'm here now. It's easy talking to video, right? I'm here now and I want to be there. But a lot of people think it's one or the other, right? It's hard to look at the baby steps that you take to get to that point. Perfect example. I want to do motivational speaking in front of large groups. I want to give back to groups of people what I've taken out of watching all these motivational speakers I love. I want to do that. So to take baby steps, I obviously have to talk in front of people, right? So number one, I started my own Super Saturday, which was about a month ago. And we only had 8 of us inside my living room right here. that was a great starting point. I still got to do a little bit of motivational speaking, got to practice with it, but it was in a small group. My next step, which kind of scares the crap out of me a little bit, is at church. We have morning Bible study groups, and we're doing a health series right now. So we have somebody covering nutrition, somebody covering sleep and overall wellness. And then I stepped up and I said, you know what? I'll do the exercise portion. So I'm going to be talking to anywhere from 30 to 45 people and hosting a 1-hour class on exercise and how it can change not just your body, but your mind. So that scares the crap out of me because that's a little more than 8 people. But it's those baby steps that get you to face those fears, right? Because a lot of people, they look at the fear and think, oh, I have to go 100% at it to face it. No, you don't. Find baby steps, because with those baby steps, you practice. Practice builds confidence, and confidence will get you to face that big fear. It's like the first time that I'll ever stand in front of 1,000 people on a stage, I'll be ready for it because I will have practiced all the way up there. It's never going to be go from where I'm at now and go stand in front of 1,000 people next week. It's not going to be like that. So the same thing goes with whatever fears that you have. If you have a fear of talking to people about Beachbody and you find yourself getting caught up and stuttering on your own business, start with one person at a time. You don't have to talk to 10 people in your first week of doing this thing, especially as a new coach. You don't have to go out and talk to 10 to 20 people. Start with one person. After you get through that one person, I guarantee you'll sit back and go, okay, that was definitely uncomfortable, slightly awkward. I didn't really know what to say, but I did it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. That's always how it works. I'll use Don as an example. I love doing mud runs. I love doing obstacle racing. I love doing 5Ks that have 20 obstacles to get over. The first time I ever told Don, I'm like, hey, there's this group on up right now. I think you should do it. It's called Rugged Maniac. And it was her and my sister-in-law, Bailey. I'll never forget the 2 months leading up to this race. They both were scared. Even up until the point where we had to jump a tiny wall to get to the starting line. Trista and I had done a few of these, so we're all amped up and excited, and we look behind us, and Don and Bailey are literally just frozen because they were so scared. But guess what? The second that gun went off, within the first quarter mile and after a few obstacles, they both were like, wow, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. Relate that to the business side of this stuff, guys. We're in a relationship business, right? If you do not have relationships with people, you're not going to last that long. You may be in this thing a year or two and you may get a sale or two, but this is a relationship business. And a lot of relationship building comes with having conversations with people, meeting new people. That's always the scariest part. It's easy to talk to people you already know, but the true challenge comes with talking to people you don't know, somebody you just met on the street. I'll get into a cool thing about Dawn. She gave me a call yesterday and shared with me covering that topic, but back on track. So butt is a dream killer. Butt will give you an excuse to hide behind your fears. And the biggest takeaway I took out of that section, butt will cause you to come up with excuses to validate your inaction. It's easy to have ideas. It's easy to know what to do, especially if you've been in this business a while. You've seen all of my videos. I have over 30 of these team calls as recordings up in the group. You may have seen every single one. But if you are still using that but word, it's causing you to come up with an excuse to validate your inaction. Take those excuses away. Start taking a little bit of action. When I say take action, it doesn't mean, like I just said, you don't have to face that thing all at once. Take baby steps. Talk to one person at a time. Focus on that one sale at a time, that one new coach. It's little tiny baby steps. So that's absolutely one of the biggest things I took away out of that. And after all of this, hearing this, the one thing, and I actually wrote this down, for those of you who don't know, I'm actually writing my own book right now based on personal development. So I'm writing my own book, and I'm going to make a new chapter just based on these 2 words right here. based on everything that I listened to in that video and I took out of it and everything right here, especially sleepwalking through life. If you have connected with this stuff and you know you're sleepwalking through life right now without fully living it and giving it everything, if you know look at your path right now. I'm not talking about what you want to do or what you know you'll do in the future, but look at from now, from the time you were born all the way up till now. If you continue living the way you've been living, are you going to live a fulfilling life, or are you going to die with an unlived life? If you think you are tiptoeing through life in a state of paralysis, here's the 2 words: wake up. Powerful little words. Wake up. That was all that came to my head when I watched that whole video, because I look at my life in the past, I look at where I'm at now. There's still days where I struggle. I'm human. I'm no different than anyone else. I struggle. And on those days, I wish my motivated self right now can look back and say, dude, get your ass up off the couch and wake up. Life is waiting to be lived. That's not going to happen with you sitting on your ass, right? Think of how many people that we need to wake up, because they're in this trance. They're zombies. Look at grocery stores. I love people watching in grocery stores. Everyone looks like a zombie. They just got off work. They're exhausted. They probably hate their job. And of course, this doesn't apply to everybody. There's so many people that love what they do, but for whatever reason, they may not be feeling fulfilled. Because for me, that's what I want my life. I want to look back at my life and feel fulfilled, feel happy that I did as much as I possibly could with this physical body. And that includes helping other people and bringing them up with me, because we're in this thing to lift people up. That's what God put us on this earth to do. So we need to be out there. First, we need to wake ourselves up. We need to, just like Eric Thomas was the guy who said it at the very end, you have to make the decision to fully engage yourself in all of this. All of the success and all of the dreams and everything that goes along with that can absolutely be achieved. Look at the millions of people on the face of the earth who have achieved amazing things. They only did it because they truly made the decision. And I'm not talking about saying, oh, I want to do this. I want to be a 15-star diamond coach. I want to quit my job and do Beachbody full time. That will never happen if you just say want. It's seriously it's almost hard to describe. It's a feeling up here, and most importantly, it's deep down in the pit of your stomach and it's in your heart. You truly make the decision that I want this more than anything in life, and I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. By whatever it takes, that's one question I have for you. Several of you may have already expressed what you want to do with this business and where you want to go in life. But my one question for you, and answer it, are you willing to do whatever it takes? I can't tell you how many coaches I've seen come through this business that when they first sign up, I always ask, what are your goals with this thing? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? They say, I want to do this, this, and this. I want to achieve these goals and these dreams. Here's my big goal. Here's my why. Okay, great. What are you willing to do for that? And I always hear, whatever it takes, I'll do anything. Will you really though? When it comes time to rise and grind, are you actually going to do whatever it takes? And by whatever it takes, I jotted down a few things here. And these are just basic Beachbody things. Talk to 2 people per day. Whether it be making 2 new friends in your life. Like I said, it doesn't have to be about Beachbody when you talk to these people. Just talk to 2 people per day. That doesn't mean go to your mom and go to your sister. That means talk to 2 new people per day. Start a fit club. Run a successful challenge group. And by successful, I mean you are there and present for the entire challenge, trying your best to lead by example and motivate them. Wake up early. and do what you know needs to be done. That was a big one for me. Everyone knows I love to sleep in. I've not been a morning person in the past. Read 1 hour per day. That's my minimum right now, actually. I'm blessed enough. I'm so thankful I have the time to read for an hour or two per day. If you don't have the time, set 30 minutes. Beachbody says 10 to 15 minutes, and I absolutely don't agree with that because that's not enough time to develop your mind per day. And last one is turn your ideas, what's going on up here, into action, something tangible. So after hearing all that, you guys give me a thumbs up. Talk to 2 people per day. Start your fit club if that's a goal. Run a successful challenge group. Wake up early. Read 1 hour per day. Turn your ideas into action. It sounds great, right? Who wants to do that? Now I ask you, are you willing to do whatever it takes to do that? Because I can't tell, like I said, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, Chaz, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to get my fit club going. Chaz, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to bring in 1,000 new coaches. I've heard all the crazy stuff. But when it comes time to rise and grind, are you going to do it? You guys know my mentality I talked about was rise and grind. That was 2 calls ago. With that, for me personally, my biggest obstacle that I've always faced that's held me back from taking not just the business, but my life to the next level is waking up early. I have overslept pretty much my whole life. The only time I've ever gotten up early was if I had an early morning shift. And I can tell you guys, if you ever want to go full-time Beachbody, meaning you're working full-time out of your house, do not sleep in. I spent all the last 2 weeks sleeping until at least 8 or 9 o'clock, sometimes 9:30 at the latest. But for me, that's sleeping in. I used to be in a pretty good routine of trying my best to get up at 6 a.m. because I know from 6 on the mornings that I'm up at 6, I have my personal development, my workout, my nutrition, and my water intake. If I have those 4 things all accomplished before 8 o'clock, I am on cloud 9 all day. I set myself up for an amazing day. The mornings that I oversleep, I wake up late. It takes me 2 or 3 hours to finally mentally just become awake with like 5 cups of coffee, of course. And half the day is wasted. It's already noon by the time I feel awake. Like, okay, I get to start the day now. Well, crap, it's half over. What am I going to do? That's why I feel so on fire today, is because I woke up this morning at 6:30, and again, baby steps. I have been for the last 4 mornings setting my alarm for 6, but 6 o'clock has not happened. I'm waiting for the morning that 6 o'clock happens, and boom, I'm up out of bed. But I've been consistent with 6:30, so my next step is 6:15, and then 6 o'clock, so I'm baby stepping it. You guys can see how you can backtrack all this kind of stuff. So I woke up early this morning. I did my workout. I got my nutrition done. I do what I call water bomb. It's 25 ounces of water. Boom. Got my personal development done. And I actually did 45 minutes of reading before this call. So you guys can see how much I've gotten done just before 9 a.m. this time. That's what I mean by rise and grind for myself. You guys can take that mentality and apply it to however you want to live your schedule. But for me, rise and grind is get up and make stuff happen. Because I, for the last 4 weeks, have slacked on my personal development. My workouts have been very sporadic. My nutrition has sucked. And I just was not feeling like myself mentally. I was so drugged down. I spent several days just watching movies on the couch, and I found myself slipping into the pity party territory. Oh, well, how come my business isn't up this much? I need to make more money. I want to bring my wife home so bad, but then I found myself laying on the couch watching movies. My goals and my dreams will not happen unless I rise and grind. And that's exactly what I mean by, are you willing to do whatever it takes? So whatever that means to you, write it down. Make the decision right now that you are going to start doing it. So along with doing what it takes, Dawn, I want you to go ahead and come on and share your story about what you did yesterday, because this is a perfect example. You guys always hear me saying, number one, get out of your comfort zone. Number two, talk to new people. Those two things, if you do them, you get this high that is undescribable when you actually do it. And so when Dawn called me yesterday and she told me what she did, and I could see she had that high, I can sense it in her voice. And when I hung up the phone, I looked at Trista. I just said, she got it. That's what people need to be doing. So Dawn, all you.
Okay. I'll try not to be as giddy as I was last. So, it's like nice out right now. And so there's people out running, and there's people, you see people getting out, and I always drive past these people that are running on the side of the road. And I always in my head think I should stop and talk to them. But, I would never do that. Like I would never, what would I say if I just stopped some random runner on the road? So last night I was coming home from Fit Club, and, I was kind of out on this back country road, like in the middle of nowhere. And I drove past this guy. He was a little bit overweight. He was actually just kind of standing there catching his breath when I drove past him. And so I had that thought, we should stop and talk to him. And I kept driving. And for about a mile down the road, I was literally talking to myself out loud in my car about how, no, you'd never stop and talk to him. And then at a certain point, about a mile, I was cursing at myself and talking about what a big chicken I am. And I just flipped around. I was thinking, I flipped around on the street and I went back. And even on my back, I was thinking, you won't stop. You're not going to stop. You're going to drive past this dude and drive in the middle of nowhere because you have to drive past this dude. And I got a little bit in front of him, and I stood on the side of the road, and I jumped out of my car. I'm sure I looked crazy. I'm sure I did. But I stopped him, and I introduced myself as a Beachbody coach and kind of told him what I do, and talked to him for a little bit. And actually, he was really nice. And I'm sure that I was shaking. It was the first time that I've ever done that. So I don't know if I look like a total idiot. But by the time we were done, I talked to him about his fitness goals and what I do. I had invited him to Fit Club. I had cards in my wallet. So I pulled out my card and gave it to him, kind of showed him, told him to look me up on Facebook. I got his name. I did not get all of his contact info because it was a little crazy. But I have his name. And so I'll probably look him up. I don't know. I will see about following up with him. But by the time we were done, we had shook hands, and he actually said to me, well, I hope this isn't the last time that you do this. And I came home wanting to go back out and stop every runner that I see on the road, but it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I drove away from there, like completely just proud of myself and giddy with the fact that I did it, because I would never do that. But I don't know if anything will come from it, but I stopped and I talked to somebody I know and got my information out there. So that's what I did. And then I was super excited, so I had a text like guys right away.
Absolutely awesome. The first thing that came to my mind too was, can you imagine, like, I look at myself, I hate running. I know how exhausting it is. If I was in the middle of a run, especially if I was, catching my breath, that means obviously he was in pain, he was hurting, and whether it be lungs or legs or whatever, but when you left, he probably thought, wow, I just had a coach like basically come and cheer me on. That would give me a huge mental boost to keep going, right?
I hope so.
And next time you see him on the road, you're going to be able to wave and he's going to know exactly who you are. You're probably going to stop again and talk to him.
I probably will.
That's like seriously everything that I talk about, and I always give you guys these little tips. It's like that's everything come together. You got to practice definitely talking to a stranger in like the most extreme way. Stopping in the middle of a road and talking to somebody is awesome. So that's number one. Number two, you got to practice your little Beachbody. Here's what I do. Number three, you had your business cards ready. That's a huge one. So that is basically what I mean when I say get out of your comfort zone and talk to people. And it would have been perfectly okay too if Dawn would have just stopped and said, you know what, I'm a coach. I just wanted to stop and let you know you're doing awesome. Keep going. Like, you can literally make it that simple too. If you're not quite to the point where Dawn's at, because Dawn's been in this while, she's had some practice. If you're brand new and you want to start helping people, find ways to compliment, especially in stores. I'm a huge fan of grocery stores. If you go in and start finding ways to compliment people, not in like a creeper way, like your shoes. If you go in there with a genuine heart, and you know, the thing I always say too is body language. Everyone is in a store and they look like zombies. They're hunched over their carts, eyes are down, big old frowns on. Half of them are yelling at their kids. Go in there and be the one who has upright posture and a smile, and you're making eye contact with people and just saying hi. That's as easy as it needs to be, especially if you're wearing Beachbody logo, where I'm a big fan of wearing those t-shirts out. So find ways to compliment people. And another big tip too, Kaylee was a big one I gave this to. Make friends with all employees, because when you go in that store, they're going to start recognizing you more and more and more. And you'll start to open up those conversation lines, and naturally they're going to bring up, oh, what do you do for a living? Or, you know, I always see you in here buying all this healthy food. Or, you know, are you into health? Like, I've had several of those types of questions before. So just, yeah, it was awesome to get that phone call just because I knew exactly that high that you get on just simply overcoming a slight fear, because, you know, like Dawn said, when she drives past, she gets this feeling of, oh, I wish I can talk to that person. You know, I wish I can cheer that person on and let them know I'm rooting for them. Why not just act on it? Dawn finally did it, and she got to experience that high, so now she's going to be more comfortable doing it again. So that was just simply awesome. So, Dawn, thank you for being amazing and doing that. I know how much it's going to come. I mean, that can literally be a turning point for you as far as talking and just sitting out and doing it. So, aside from that, I am done chit-chatting for the day. We are coming up on an hour. So, aside from that, biggest takeaways.
Already?
That's going to be my action plan for you. Not tomorrow, not the next day. Preferably the second we stop this call. I want you to turn off all distractions, put on some soothing music or whatever you want to do, but turn off all distractions. Whether you want to meditate on this or just spend time, you know, in silence. It's basically meditation, but whatever you want to call it. Spend some time with yourself. It can be 10 minutes, it can be an hour, as long as it takes. Spend some time with yourself. Reflect on where you are in life right now. Reflect on your journey with Beachbody. Reflect on all the decisions you've made that have brought you to where you're at right now in life. And then ask yourself, have I made the decision to accomplish what I've always said I want to accomplish? Have I made the decision to stop tiptoeing towards my grave? You know, like I said earlier, are you living so quietly and safely just to get closer to your grave? Are you trying to take that back route around everybody? Because if you keep doing that all your life, I guarantee you on your deathbed, you're going to look back and go, wish I would have done this. I should have done this. Don't let those shoulds and woulds happen. Just live them now. Worst case scenario, you find stuff that you don't like to do and you get scared. But guess what? You did it. You know what not to do next time. You find these hobbies and these things that make you feel alive in life. So that's your action plan for today, is take time today and spend time with yourself. Spend time in reflection. This is what I did last weekend, 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, today's Wednesday. So on Saturday and Sunday, I took 2 really lazy days. Tristan and I had all Sunday off, so we actually had a movie marathon. It was amazing. We haven't had that since the cruise. But I took those 2 days as reflection days. I did not do anything because I needed to spend time just with myself and ask myself these questions. Have I truly made the decision that I want to make this thing work? Have I truly made the decision that I'm not going to tiptoe through life until I die? I've made the decision for myself. I've proven it in my business. I've proven it in my life. I've proven it in my family and my relationships. I am making my dreams happen now. Not because I'm any better than anyone else or because I've been doing the business longer. It's just because I made the decision, and because of making that true decision and keeping my why alive in my heart, I wake up every day and I take action. That's the biggest thing that separates people who are successful and people who just want success. Successful people make shit happen. That's what it comes down to. They just do it. If you have an idea saying, ooh, I should start a fit club, ooh, I should do these challenge groups, stop right there, write it down, and make the decision to do it. You'll find ways to make it happen. Trust me. That's all I got for you today, guys. Aside from that, I will link the video that I played today. It's called Awakening. Amazing video. I love it. You seriously watch this thing a couple times. Put some headphones in so you make sure there's all distractions cleared. Put some headphones in, listen to this thing a few times. Take your own notes. These are just little bullet points I took out of it. Take your own notes. Apply those things to your life. My life is not going to be the same as someone else's. We're all on different paths with different goals. So take everything I say and all these videos and apply them to you. Aside from that, this has been Coach Shaz. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to be on the live call, and also if you are watching the recording. And I will be sure to link the Awakening video in the Facebook post with this. You guys have a blessed day. Thanks again for hopping on here. And we're